Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. A real quick one for you today. And this is a video to correct mistakes. This is one of those videos I hate making, but I've made a few boo-boos. One of the boo-boos is the very first video I ever did on YouTube. It was a video about Evaporust. This stuff here, this is Evaporust. It comes in gallons. You can also get it in quarts. I get it at Harbor Freight, but I believe you can buy it online as well. Evaporust just breaks rust down. You know, you use it on your old hand tools. The other mistake I made, guys, is I bought these good Bessey clamps. Here's a good thick one. Look at this one. Oh my God, was this one damaged? And I got this set here of really big, heavy, deep ones. And he's rusted shut too. Of the four I have, this is the only one that's functional right now. The other three are unfortunately rusted shut. So a huge mistake on my part. What I did is I just leaned these against the wall in my basement. Things add up. You know, I put a piece of plywood up next to it, put something else there. All of a sudden they were kind of behind things. I forgot about them. They fell over. You know, my basement leaks. They got wet. I mean, look at this. This one here, the handle's worn away. This thing's been very wet for a long time. He is totally locked up. So into the Evaporust bath he goes. I got a little bit in here from I think you saw my last video was a combination square and squares video where I cleaned up a combination square in Evaporust. Now I am going to clean a few, hopefully a few of these guys up. You know what, this one works too. I'm not going to bother putting him in. I am going to put this one in because he's kind of seized. I almost can break that one break loose. I could probably get this one to break loose with WD-40. And you know something? I'm going to try the WD-40 on this one first. I'll film that for you and let you see it. So we got one in here that definitely has to go in. I'm going to put some more Evaporust in here so it's completely covered. And I'm going to be honest, I did some Googling, and the reason I am avoiding putting these in that are working is I think I can fix them with WD-40, and I am not 100% sure what Evaporust is going to do to this wood. I found some conflicting messages on some forums that said it will or it won't hurt wood. So that one there, the handle is already kind of rotted away. So if it messes that one up, so what? That just gives us a reason to use the lathe and make another project and put a new handle on it. These three, I'm going to WD-40, see if I can get them working. If I can't, they'll go back into the Evaporust. So this needs at least 24 hours. We'll give it 12. It's nighttime here now. We'll check it in the morning. We'll come back and see how it did. So we'll see you then. Alright everybody, it's the next day. It's been about 20 hours actually since I put the clamp in, and I'm going to be honest with you, after I turned the camera off last night, I looked at the other smaller of the 4 clamps and put it in as well. So we have 2 of them in here. I haven't even opened this yet. I don't know what it's going to look like. So let's see. Well, here is the one that I added after we signed off last night. Let me put it down here. Keep it a little dry off. First and foremost, it's perfect. It perfectly turns now. This was solid rust. This entire thread was solid rust. And now, as you can see, it's turning perfectly with just 2 fingers of pressure. I was able to slightly move this. This is the one that I said yesterday I thought I could clean up with WD-40. I'm glad I didn't bother with that because look at how clean this thing came out. Very nice. I will obviously, well, one thing I just noticed there, guys, if you are fussy about things like, what do I call this? On this bar here, there was Bessey's name and serial number and stuff, stamped ink on there. It all came off. Literally, the second I wiped it with the towel, it came right off. So if you're worried about the actual markings that were printed on this, they're gone. The handle seems fine. And actually the printing on the handle is even fine. There's a little cracking in the paint here, but I think this is from the water. I'll pay more attention when I put the next set in. But this dried up nice. This was the much better of the two. So let's look at the other one in here, and I don't want to stick my hand in there. What do I got? I got a 5-in-1 tool. You're now a 6-in-1 tool because you're also an Evaporust extractor. Okay, there we have it. And the handle, again, it's still solid. It didn't break the wood down, so my concerns about that are gone. All rust is gone on this bar, but I'm not able to loosen it yet, so we're going to need some WD-40 here. So this is a little interesting. This one, remember, was completely seized up. This one, I was able to move this a little bit. So because I was able to move it a little bit, the Evaporust got in there and cleaned everything up. Apparently this one is so sealed that the Evaporust did not get in where it's locked up. And I am still not able to move it. But looking at the threads, the rust is gone. So it took the rust off. It just did not free up the clamp. That's not the end of the world. I'm going to turn you off. I'm going to think about how I want to free this up, either with heat or with some WD-40. When I come up with what I want to do, I'll turn you back on and we'll fix it. So for now, the good news is this clamp is perfect. It's right back into perfectly usable shape. I'm sure I can save this one. This handle that looks like crud was from the water damage, not from the Evaporust. So right now, let's, these two, again, don't turn, but let's put them in so that, all right, this one does turn, so hopefully this one will be completely good like that one. That one I might have to break free with heat or something, but there is rust on these threads, so let's clean them up. We'll put them back in. I will let them soak. Hopefully I can check these in like 3 or 4 hours. I don't think it needed 20 hours. So let's see how that goes. I don't know that you need to cover these. I am doing this covering for my stupid cats. I don't want them to get in there. And God knows they will. They get into everything. You guys that own cats, you know what I'm talking about. Alright, let me think on this. Maybe a torch, maybe some WD-40, I don't know. I'll turn you back on when I figure it out. Alright everybody, I came up with a solution that worked. All I did was put the clamp in the vise and cranked on it as hard as I could, and it broke free. And now it is it's rolled through the area that didn't really get the Evaporust on it inside. One of these little this is the gray version of the you know, these Scotch-Brite cloths. This is a gray one, which I believe is more of a coarse one. I'm not really sure. I know the white one is the finest. Maroon, gray, and green. I'm not sure what they all do, but obviously this clamp is now broken free. The handle, like I said, is a little, well, gotta do a little work. We gotta do a little work on the, you know, where it was tight here on the bar is still a little cruddy. So this gray cloth is doing a good job on that. I said a lot of what the Evaporust does after it gets the rust broken down, it doesn't completely clean. You still have to do some elbow grease. The Evaporust leaves like a water stain. It actually leaves a, I'd like to say almost like a satiny finish to whatever you're working on. Okay, there. Now the bar works. The clamp works. The wooden handle is good. So these clamps are back in order. I will put a little oil on these to treat them. A little WD probably. And these are back in business. These are back in circulation. I'll show you the oiling when I take these two out. That'll be the last step of this video. I'm going to check these about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. I'm going to give them about 4 or 5 hours. So we'll be back for that. We'll oil them, clean them up. They'll be back in business. All right, it's been about 6 hours. We've been cooking our clamps here. Let's see what has happened. Well, very slimy, but I can see that these screws have 0 rust on them. These clamps look perfect. Literally, they look perfect. We didn't get anything up here. And all it was doing up on this cast piece up here was cleaning, so it's no big deal. These big thick bars never made it into the Evaporust. They only got in about that far, so they were only in like that. And the screws now, well, this one is still locked, so we're going to do the vice trick here again. Let me move this out of your way. So the screws here are perfectly clean. And you can just see that there's a little bit of moisture right here where it was inside. And that cleaned up nicely. These things are perfect. I don't have this camera set up today. I'm going to bring this to you so you can see. There. You can see that these things have no rust on them at all now. Came out really good. Let me get the camera back where it belongs. That's what happens when you don't have a cameraman. So this one came out perfect. Let's see how the other one looks. Just as good, guys. Just as good. I don't even need to use the gray pad on these. These things are perfectly clean. I'm going to recommend, guys, use gloves. Use some rubber gloves with this. I don't have any left. Part of the COVID thing, unfortunately. I don't have any right now, so I'm not using them. That is so good. So good. This one, again, is just as clean as the other one. All right, I'm going to put these two over here, let them dry for a little bit. And I'm going to tell you point blank, I've been doing some Googling, and as usual with the internet, I'm getting mixed results here. I am going to spray a little bit of, these are now dry, these have dried off. I'm going to put a little WD on these screws. I read several articles. Some articles said they swear by WD-40 on their clamps. Some people say don't use it, it can contaminate your wood. I get that. I then looked up maybe some wax. Same thing. Some guys said yes, some guys said no. Pretty much everything I looked up, there was yes and no's. So I'm just going to go with WD-40. And I'm just going to bring the screw to where it's about halfway. Just put a little bit. On each side, and then screw it all the way one way. And screw it all the way the other. And all this is doing is lubricating the threads. And then actually wiping it down, getting it dry. And there you have it. This clamp, this is the one that was the worst. I stand corrected. This is the one that was the worst, so let's spray him. Now this handle took a little bit of a beating getting wet, but this is now a perfectly functioning clamp that turns fine, as are the other three. I'm going to let those dry, then I'll oil them, and we're good. So I hope this worked for you guys. I hope you don't have to do this, to be perfectly honest with you, because I hate to see your clamps go through this. But if they do, as we saw, this one was in really bad shape, and he's back to a perfectly good working clamp, because these are my most expensive Bessey clamps. I mean, this is a big, heavy duty clamp. And, you know, I don't know what these cost. I'll put it right up here, and you'll know, and you'll see how much these cost compared to my my loved Harbor Freights over here. But look at the difference in the substantial size of like length clamps. Look at how thick this bar is. Look at the depth of this. So these were great clamps that I spent a lot of money on, and unfortunately had had an accident and they got wet. So they're now back to use. Evaporust is a great product. I've owned this gallon for over 2 years. I've used it at least a dozen times. I'm just going to funnel it back in that gallon, cap it off, and then use it the next time. They say you can use it until it stops working. That's kind of the recommended time frame. So the shelf life is keep trying. When it stops working, it's dead. So I've gotten 2 years out of it, so it lasts a long time. Hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.